Aye. What? Look. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Aye. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Peekaboo, I just put them bookers in my chain. Peekaboo, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Peekaboo, 7.62s will make them plain. Peekaboo, popping out, you better not smell my name. Peekaboo, put 2 foreigns on the 405. Peekaboo, catch you pepper here from doing pasta. Peekaboo, why you acting tough on IG Live? Peekaboo, you know my new off they rocker. Peekaboo, surprise, just that chicken cheese. Peekaboo, let me FaceTime my op. I'm up the street. Peekaboo. Yes, AG's. I'm putting something to sleep. Peekaboo. He on the ground, I praise God and start stumping feet. Peekaboo. I put 10 on his face, my shooter playing. Peekaboo. I hit it from the back, I told her move her hand. Peekaboo. And saw my thumb in where her at. Peekaboo. On your top, I'm with God, don't look back. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about?
Like bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Get on in here because we are about to be talking about Alien Earth. Can't wait to get into it. Ashley, how are you feeling before we say what's up to some of the people in the chat?
I'm good, girl. I don't know if y'all don't like my opinion on this third episode, but I am here. I feel amazing. I'm ready to get all the way into it. Tyra, I'm
Oh,
ready.
let me put my lip gloss on. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh man, let's see who is here. Thank you so much. Dane pulled up and said, "Moonwalking alien." Did you see him? He was a smooth criminal this episode, Dane. I didn't know what was going on. I say, why is the alien moving all slide? It gave what's good. Like I was like, what is going on? I got some stuff to say about the episode too. Hello, Anakin not Vader. What's up, everyone? Be sure to leave a like. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Be sure to do that. See what else we have here. Keep running. Keep on running. Okay, understanding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Fruit line from the vinyl is here. Hello, hello. Hey everyone.
Hey.
Yeah, hello to everyone who is here on my side, Ashley's side, and anyone who is here from B's side over there with just my opinion. We are happy to have you. B is running late. He will be here shortly. We will clue him in when he gets here. But for now, we are going to get started. Remember to hit that like button and leave commentary on what you think about the show. Now, Ashley, I'm going to come to you first, girl. What were your overall thoughts of episode 3?
It felt like one of the movies. It felt very slow. It felt very delayed. It felt very silent for me. The episode was fine. It took me a good 2, 3 times to get through this episode, where I feel like episodes 1 and 2 came out the gate and it was boom, bap, pam, right? It was I don't want to say it languished, but I just wasn't. The lost children are still pissing me off. That big-headed Wendy is still problematic. The hermit crab, I still hate him. The only shining light for me in this episode was Marrow and Kersh. Those were the two that I was looking forward to seeing. Those were the two that fulfilled my fancy. Even Boy Cavalier, I wanted more from him. I will say aesthetically, this is still very aesthetically pleasing for me. I think Dane had mentioned it in the comments. They are capturing the 90s essence of like the films, which I like, but they're also capturing that silence and that dead air and that long pause. And I was like, I thought we weren't doing that over here. I thought I had gotten away from that. And I get it. The OGs, the people, the sycophants, the people who are OG Alien fans probably reveled in this. It was just such a turn off to me in an hour 45-minute show. I pick it up.
Oh, dang.
Sorry.
Um, I enjoyed the episode. I can agree with Ashley where there were not even pacing issues for me, but you can tell that they slowed down a bit. I mean, you have no choice. When you come out the gate with episode 1 and 2, you have to kind of chill and let us kind of waddle in where we are because it was so much. it made a powerful impact with both episodes. So I'm not gonna just beat them down for kind of slowing down here. As far as the silence, it's to be expected with this franchise. I was very shocked that we didn't open the gate, with if if you're in space, will anybody who you scream type of vibes, because it's so quiet and we're going down these long spacey corridors and we're just waiting for the alien to pop out. I feel like it was good. What I did have issues with, we'll get into, but it didn't have to do with any of the characters. I'm still here for those damn children. I'm still here for the children. I'm gonna get into why, but I didn't have too many issues with this episode. I didn't feel like it was too much of a drawback from where we started. I feel like we're in a good like company of space with us coming in so damn hot twice. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But let's get into probably where a little bit of my issue lied. Immediately when the episode started, I was like, hold on. The opening was very wonky for me. The opening was wonky. We have spent a lot of time with this alien. And I don't know if this xenomorph is supposed to be different because we haven't been through the ringer yet. It is at this point a new discovery, or some of these other creatures that are taking precedent here gonna affect the way that the alien acts later. I don't know, but this moonwalking alien, as Dane said in the chat, it was very cheeky. This was this was a moment where it felt like a person in a suit. It didn't feel like an alien. It felt like someone in a suit, and I did not like that. And not to say that the alien looked bad or anything. It looks good, but it felt like I I don't know. The xenomorph moves a certain way and is really vicious. I could see whatever with Wendy, and we gonna get into her just being super windy out of nowhere. Like it's all just very happenstance. I'm not feeling a shift in Wendy to where she can handle herself in this way. This is very fish out of water. So the way that the xenomorph was affecting how she could so easily maneuver it and take control over this situation, I was like, hold on, what xenomorph is this? And the way that this xenomorph is really lingering when we get over here with Brother Joe, baby, we've been on top of Joe, little defenseless self, twice now. And the xenomorph is extremely reactionary. We be on go. We don't got to think about too much. They are here for, the slow kill, the looming, stalking, surprise element. But when I have you in my grasp, I'm doing what I need to do. The way that Joe was helpless, like both of them were in a way, but they were still able to handle the xenomorph. I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised, and I felt like it was a cop out situation when we have Wendy get the xenomorph in the whatever the little storage situation. We couldn't see anything. We were just left to assume that she handled business with the sword, and of course she's injured. And we see what transpires later in this episode. But there was never anything for me to where this felt like, oh, this is the typical xenomorph. Are we supposed to have a different expectation for this one because this is, a prequel situation? Because if this is the xenomorph from way back when, we were moving very awkwardly. Y'all, I am going to bring out someone. They are here. They are late, but they are always on time in my heart. Brandon Keith Avery is in the house. B, how are you feeling? Are you ready to talk Alien Earth?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm feeling great. I am ready to talk Alien Earth. How you doing, Tyra? How you doing, Ashley?
Hey.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I do apologize, but I am excited to be here. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, passing it to you, Ashley. I did feel like the xenomorph was extremely hesitant. We don't get to be hesitant with Joe twice. The way he was moving, it felt like a person in a suit. It almost gave like, "Come at me, bro." I thought the alien was going to do this, and I didn't. I wasn't prepared for that. But other than that, like you said, everything looks absolutely beautiful. How did you feel about this opening?
Yeah, it looked good. Again, Tyra, you know I'm not here for the hermit crab. I'm not here for Joe. They could have taken him out. I would have not been mad at this. But what it does have me questioning, and you know we like shows that make us ask questions. I do want to know more about the xenomorph's evolution because I'm thinking that this is them in their infancy stage, and so maybe they haven't fully evolved or adapted at this point, being that it is 2 years prior to the OG alien, right? Uh, did I feel scared, Tyra, in the moment? No, I did not. And did Wendy drink her mutant juice? I guess she did because it was so slow, then it was so all of a sudden. And I was like, "Oh, okay, Wendy girl, like you had that in you the whole time." I'm really really struggling with understanding who Wendy is and how she's evolved separate from the other lost children. I know she's the original hybrid, but I'm really trying to reckon with myself with her and these children being on this mission and her suddenly getting this capability and wherewithal to take out a xenomorph just like boom. I think there's some gaps that they need to fill in. Hopefully we'll get that later in the season. But for me, it's lacking something. And again, I know y'all like the slow, not talking stuff in the movies. I know the OG Alien fans love that. But I need exposition here. Like I need a little bit more. And I get it sci-fi and I get it's supposed to be horror, but I need y'all to fill in these gaps. Even if they would have given me more time with Wendy as she evolved after becoming a hybrid to understand maybe her training or how she learned. We've heard about it, right? Even from the new girl that we meet later in the episode. Yeah, I read that book yesterday. I read that book last week. So we get that they take in this information, but how quickly is her evolution? And is it just going to be the girls? These are the questions that I had. As far as the scene, it was fine, but take out Hermit already. I don't want him here, Tyra. I don't feel it. I didn't feel it in the first two episodes, and I don't feel him here. That would have been a good thing if we could have seen him gutted in
I
this
just
first
I
opening.
just want the xenomorph to act accordingly. I don't want it acting in any special way out of convenience for these two characters because they are on the weaker side with Wendy still evolving and Child Hermit just being Hermit. B, what did you think about this opening?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And this is a surprise, very interesting. But I loved it. I don't really have any complaints at all. I like the Joe character. One thing I felt after episode 1 or 2 is how is this show going to have stakes when this new invention is going in to, to fight aliens. We see how strong Wendy is. There's not going to be a contest, but I feel completely different now, especially with the fight that she had. She does have skill, but she's not an expert. She struggled and she like dang near died at the very beginning. And this is episode 3 out of 8. So I was like really surprised by that. Like, the two main leads are knocked out,
Mhm.
and then I cared about everybody else. But I mean, we're talking about the opening. So I was shocked. I was impressed. I liked that there was a struggle. I'm glad that she just didn't kind of, do a bunch of backflips like Megan or something like that. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, it was. I'm a not so much say be patient, Ashley. He's a man child. This is not a man child. Joe has been a hermit living in his skin out in the world all his life. He is not a hybrid, but he is, on the And I'm trying to think, was Joe just was he just like a medic or was he like an active security like so? Because he's a security like.
I got medic. I got medic who might have had a light little bit of training to get him through some situations, but they were punking him the first episode, Tyra. I thought they was gonna toss him off the little side of the building before we had to go on this mission. He gets no respect.
Oh man,
No respect.
I like their bond. Them, going out of their way, even though they're both down for the count on the floor holding hands, and he's still calling her by her old name. They have that connection there. I'm hoping that that's going to roll over into something, but I'm gonna need Joe to. And I've been seeing this a lot. Because I believe that if you guys are really with that Alien franchise, and it's like, well, the xenomorph isn't actively trying to pounce on Joe in a way that we've seen in the past because he doesn't see Joe as a threat. I mean, the franchise is very iffy. with when that's a factor and when it's not. So I'm not gonna let it rock here. I know that damn xenomorph, so I was expecting something else. And then this is the same xenomorph that we saw 2 episodes ago, and it was very active and extremely vicious, regardless of what was going on. A lot of people weren't a threat, and we were killing it just the same. And that leads me to think: is there a purpose or something to Joe that we don't know about, because he is kind of untouchable in this way, but
Can
not
I
so untouchable.
Pyra,
No,
can I pause
go ahead.
this really quick though? Because I was thinking, but it didn't come till later in the episode. Because we see she does have some sort of psychic connection. Could that
Mhm.
be what it sensed? There's some connection that Wendy herself has with the alien. So maybe because she was in the room. I don't know. I'll be curious if they dive more into whatever that thing is that she's feeling or hearing or sensing with them.
It has to be. Joe has to be protected in some way. I told you he did. You don't get to get loomed over by a xenomorph twice and walk away kind of unscathed in a way. But not so unscathed that we can't be a disposable human just used for parts. This was so trash. When I saw the rescue in the little Vetomac roll up, I was like, oh, they're gonna take Joe too, because I wasn't sure how the corporation was moving. And I was like, yeah, they know how much Wendy cares about Joe. They're not gonna leave Hermit stretched out. No, we collected Joe to be a specimen here. Like the way that we just took this lung with no remorse and later used it as a vessel, of course, for the little baby xenomorph to lay the egg and probably harvest. And we're gonna go through the process of seeing how it goes. Y'all know, but just how they are so in a rush to disregard human life, it just really shows the value that it has here, which is always great. But technically, Joe's like a cyborg now. I mean, if you want to be cute, he has some man-made parts in there now. And I was thinking maybe what we don't see with Joe as far as how he's moving or he has this weaker appeal, maybe once he gets up now and sees, like, you did what? And my sister's what? And we're here as what? We'll see a shift in him that we're not seeing, and he won't be such a hermit. A hermit eventually has to come out of the crab. But B, what did you think here when we got later into this episode and they just harvested those parts and didn't say woo about it?
Well, that's what I like about it is they're pushing the boundaries of technology and what's possible. I mean, this is a couple of 100 years in the future, so I want to see it. But I do agree with you as far as like, I mean, they're just doing this all willy nilly. There's no signatures or consent or anything like that. Just experiment. It's just like, whoa, can we slow down here and press the brakes? It's all gas. But it's who's doing it. It's Prodigy. It's Boy Cavalier. And he's I won't call him a bad guy, but he's definitely not a good guy. The antagonist. So, I mean, if this was just kind of like the everyday, citizen, just like, yeah, rip them apart and on microscope, just oh, this is disgusting. I don't want to be a part of this society. But it's just like, this sleazeball young boy, this Boy Cavalier. So I'm here for it. I'm also I love the way this was shot, how that came in of the bird's eye view of all of the samples and just the wreckage and what they're bringing in. It's just like, man, we are really there's so many directions that they can go. As far as it's not just one species that we're familiar with, that we're still getting new information about, with this like being the 7th thing in the franchise. We got like 4 other species. The little alien, nothing. They're all aliens.
The little octopus
Yeah,
looking.
and that's messing them other people up in the head too. They kids. I'm obviously excited, but I'm loving all this. I'm here for it.
And I wouldn't even go as to say that this is all the little boy Prodigy. The way that he didn't technically know, he doesn't know anything about the xenomorphs at this point. He just knows it's valuable and the competitors want it and she's not going to get it. But he didn't even know not to be looming in its presence because you're going to get a face hugger, to the chest.
I'm
I,
on the fence.
I feel like this was Kersh. I feel like this was Kersh, and he has such a disregard, especially not just for human life, but for Wendy, that it was just a disposable thing. I think that this is Kersh acting solo, personally. Ashley, what did you think about this?
Girl, Boy Cavalier knows everything going on in here. And here's what I'm waiting for. His sinister nature, his full, true, sinister nature needs to be revealed in these next 2 episodes. Boy Cavalier is nothing of the sort. Nothing that he appears to be. Even later when he's having conversation with that other hybrid girl and he's like, here are these books. It's all for his bidding and for his purpose. He is a little Napoleon complex. Watch. It's going to be so bad and I can't wait. I need the sinister villain to come out. But as far as this, I don't think anything is going under his nose. I think he's fully aware of every experiment that's happening here. He and them other raggedy doctors. So while, yes, it is Kersh, it's also that heifer in the May-December relationship that I told you about last week, Tyra. I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Last week we were talking about the basement and the screams and everything that we don't see down there. This is just a part of it. They've been playing, maybe not with these species, but they've been playing with other life forms, other weapons, as they call it. And like everyone is saying, these corporations will do anything to get their hands on it. My question is, how much of the current Predator that we see in the franchise, the later movies, have been altered in some way, modified, or, by these different companies to make them more aggressive, more lethal, more whatever. I'm curious about that. And also I'm curious about what else is going to happen with this lung. Because this isn't the first rodeo. It does not give this is their first rodeo playing around with other wild species. They knew exactly what to do, Tyra. He said, put it in the thing and unleash it, and let's just look and see. So yeah, I'm not surprised by this. Hermit crab is a pawn until he grows some cojones and does something. Because coming out of your comatose state, sir, like I just need more if this is our guy, I need more from him. I don't need a downtrodden, low-eyed Eeyore type. I need you to get some courage, get some self-esteem. Do it for Wendy. That's what I need from him. Yeah, do it for Wendy.
I love what Wendy said. He was like, no. What did he say? I'm a soldier, Wendy. She's like, not anymore. Get behind me. I got to protect you. Like, sit down. You're not.
He gives weakling, and maybe that's his art.
He did. Like, I wanted to push him. They took so long, and we finally got some acid this episode.
Wow.
I was looking for the acid from the xenomorphs the last 2 episodes, and I was like, "Oh, there it is." And he was like, "Oh no, Wendy, it's acid." I thought, "Are you moving in slow motion, Hermit? Come on, Joe. I need you to put some pep on it." But this is why I am trying to give grace for how this current xenomorph is moving, because maybe there are certain things, but I feel like the xenomorph was extra aggressive last couple of episodes, was it not?
When he came to that window in episode 2, it was weird.
The window, we attacked all at the Boston the stat party. Where was that a threat? That man was trying to.
What do y'all expect? He's fighting an 8-foot alien. What do you expect?
No, Joe's a hermit, and that's fine. I just he's fine. He's fine. No beef with her.
Who's needed to get saved at every turn so far, Brandon. Come on.
Himself. That's what I'm saying. When he first encountered the alien and he looked up and he dived, that was
what's the reason he was still standing there, Brandon? Why was he still? Because he was scared to jump before.
This is completely new territory. You know what I'm saying? Once he got the memo, he been on the move since. He been on his toes. He running, locking doors. He's still alive.
I think we're gonna get some fresh, peppy, a different type of hermit. He's gonna come out. I think they named him Hermit for a reason. We're supposed to have low expectations for him not to do anything, and I think towards the end of the series, it's gonna be like, okay, we see you, Joe, but not just yet. He got to cook first, Ashley.
They accomplished that. Mm-hmm.
But who doesn't need to cook is Marrow, because baby. Oh Lord, I need to see what else this man is in, because he's acting down. I don't know who this is. He is giving Brian Tyree Henry. I don't know. He's great. I need to see what else he's doing, because it's been 65 years and we're still doing what we're supposed to do. I was like, oh my gosh. So this is my life's mission. And he's by far, to me, the most interesting character on the show so far. For me, I'm really invested in his plight, his past, his future, how committed he is to this, and how far he is willing to go. Because the moment that we get here, he hits a factory reset. He finds a moment. I don't like what all took place, what I had to do with my old crew, and goes and attach those things to his head. And I don't want to remember it, so I can keep going with the task at hand and not feel any remorse or regret for anything. I was like, oh my gosh, that is terrifying. And we do, of course, know that he's a cyborg, so he is still susceptible to a xenomorph. You can still get this work. And I also think there's a little bit of regret there too, because he's in this in between stage of not quite being a hybrid, not quite being a synth or a human. He's just kind of in the middle. And I don't think he likes that. I think he actually wants to be full on hybrid or full on whatever, because he's so conflicted in that way. But we do learn this episode that he did have a family, a daughter. We don't dive too much in it, but we do have a conversation, and it said like, well, you didn't read the fine print. I was like, well, baby, what did it say? But clearly he thought that maybe this was a little cute mission, bring, some money to my family, some opportunity, what have you. And we got entrapped in this. And this has been the mission for 65 years, and he is staying on top of it. Actually, what did you think about the encounter? I know you can't stand them kids. I love them kids. Like, oh my God, bro, I seen the alien, bro. It was 12 foot. Oh my God, really? There's no situational awareness. They're so they're just kids. And I like that we have this bond between the two actors here, and they are just giving kids, because we know we can only do so much with kids here, and they're gonna either rise to the occasion or be influenced, corrupted. They're just sponges. So I like the aspect of what they can become, but right now they're just enlightened and innocent, and the innocence is gonna be corrupted. But what did you think about this, Ashley?
Well, so these are probably my favorite scenes in the episode. And please read Dane's super chat, child, if you can find it, because he not going to worry me, Jesus, in these comments. But no, these are my favorite scenes. I love Marrow. I've loved him since the first episode, because he gives true believer. He gives that this has been my life's work, and I'm going to stick by it until I finish it. But here's the issue with these lost children. When he hacks them or does whatever he does to get in old boy's mind, the sweet baby, Smee or whatever his name was, who was like, we all need friends, it gives predatory. And that's the issue, because you have these children in these adult bodies, and it just gives very much, I can manipulate you, I can prey on you, I can use you to get whatever I want. That's the part of it I don't like. But Kersh came in like the big daddy that I said he was, Tyra. And he came in to protect them children. I said, Kersh, you better come on, Justified. Listen, you're not going to play with Timothy Olyphant, is what you're never going to do. He's over here delivering in his full synthy whatever situation. Love him for that. But I loved the dialogue between he and Marrow. I was like, okay, these are two men of a certain age who've been around in this thing for a while. And it was like, all right, keep on, when them eggs gonna bust open and get you, Marrow. And Marrow does have to reset and figure it out. And then when he's talking with Miss Mother over here, who's beat down, beautiful, bad girl. You hear me? And she's like, come on in. I need to bring you in. I need to bring you in. I like, again, when you have me thinking, and I'm like, oh, there is something. He's gonna get a hard reset if he goes in. So he's like, I need to stay on the outside. My mission was to capture these beings. I'm going to do that before I come in. I really still am so intrigued by Marrow's character and what got him to this place. And like I said, I've read a little bit of background, so I knew about the child, I knew about the family, but I still want to know what's the thing that keeps him pressing. They did allude to a relationship he had with her predecessor before, that's gone now. I really hope we get an opportunity to dive deep, and I want to see more of him and Kersh interact, because I think these are going to be it's going to be formidable, and I would like to see them come into, because I think more than anything, outside of the external forces, the alien of it all, I do like the dynamic that we're having between the hybrids, between the synths, between the cyborgs. I think that's a really cool dynamic, and I like them as our predator. I like them as that. So I'll be interested to see where we go from here, but love Marrow down real bad.
I'm actually here for the predator aspect, because what you think we finna have going on over there with Curly? I like how impressionable these children are. I just think that it's just gonna get real messy and juicy. Um, And I'm here for the hard factory reset. I love that he's just a cyborg, so he does still have thought and autonomy to say, no, I'm not coming in. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And like, how long had you not talked or checked in to know that the elder was dead and you were talking to the niece or the granddaughter or whatever? Like, how distant and how far out have you been? I just want to know the complexities of where his inner. Let me get this first. The inner working of his mind could go, because I feel like it's gonna get real messy. Hello, Dane. I got your super chat, Dane. I was wearing headphones. I thought I was gonna go deaf. The show is the loudest show I've ever watched. Dane, thank you so much for the super chat. B, what do you think about Morrow here?
Oh my goodness gracious! I agree with a lot of what you guys said. I want to like him. Hold on one second. So the washing machine is doing this thing over here. I want to like him, but I can't, because what he did in the first episode, I still just can't forgive him for that. I mean, I understand. I mean, just from the very beginning, the species is the mission. I mean, okay, I understand that's the priority, but you just don't have to flush everybody else down the toilet. You could have hit a button and let old girl in the room and locked her up or something. That wasn't the only in the whole ship. I'm sure there was other rooms that she could have went in. So I just can't forgive him for that. I didn't think he was going to be around this long, and I'm surprised that he's still at the forefront, driving the ship in a way. Like I'm thinking he just would have died off or something, but like no, he is still manipulating the situation, and it's really disgusting, the relationship that he does have with the kids. I mean, just mentally, I just don't like when people are being taken advantage of, and he's clearly sees that these are children, put their little bug in this dude's neck, and is stalking him virtually. Like, I mean, that is just like creepy as hell. Like, get out of my head. Like, no, I'm just going to talk to you and get all your information. It was interesting, his conversation with Utani, and him just kind of just saying like, okay, damn, everybody that I known is gone and dead 65 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not finna do all of this for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna complete my mission. And at that point, I was with them. I was like, you know what? Even though I thought he was an a-hole and I didn't like the way he was talking to these kids, like I feel him though. And the way he chopped the way he put it with the kids too, like, okay, so put yourself in my shoes. If you was on the mission, but then this happened, what would you do? And I'm just like, damn, he got a point. Why did you have to let the woman die in the first episode? We could be Team Marrow over here, because you're making sense. You know what I'm saying? You're making sense. And also, I don't know if y'all saw Interstellar, but it was a really geek out moment for me with the whole time dilation and gravity, because, with traveling at the speed of light and stuff, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I found all that very, very fascinating. Kersh is a G. I really do like him. I do want to see another interaction between him and Marrow. He has to be fast enough to dodge bullets. The amount of confidence that he had, and I'm not being facetious. Like I'm serious. I mean, he is a synthetic, so they probably got some moves or something. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want to get my hopes up, but if we can see something like that as well, I'm just like, wow. Like, I like all the characters. Like, there's nobody I don't like. Everybody is doing something that's really, really interesting. And so, yeah, I'm loving all this.
I think Morrow is extremely skilled, and we've only seen a little peek into what all he's capable of, because he is a cyborg. He can have little surprise things popping out. Like when he took the little skin and stuck it, I was like, oh, you can do that too. Then he did the factory reset, and prior to him doing it, which is why I'm not just gonna chalk him up as a bad guy or whatever, he does have this drive, and I'm gonna complete this mission. But I think it's because he has nothing else going on to live for. Like he said, it's just me. I don't even have a home. This is all that I have, and at least I could do is complete that after all I've sacrificed just to be here. But before the factory reset, and he's holding them in hostage and put your arms up, it's like, oh, you guys are children. Like what? He did have some type of compassion. I don't think it's all bad, because he could have just tried to, like, oh, let me just take. No, he was like, oh, these are children. Like what? This is odd. I think he was intrigued, but it was also kind of a callback to I was a parent. I did have a daughter, and I think that's why any opportunity that he gets, he is going to try to have hard factory resets, and why he is intrigued but also jealous at the fact that they have all this innocence in their children and their hybrids, because I'm in this gray area, in this in between. And I think that confuses him but gives him this internal conflict enough to maybe not go full stop ahead as far as Slightly is concerned here, because this poor baby here, the both of them were so terrified. They were so scared. Like, you don't protect us, right? He's not gonna make his way down here on the island and kill us in our sleep or nothing like that. Like, in their minds, Marrow is the boogeyman, in the fact that he put basically this tracker on him to where he can talk and get. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so scary. It's like, can you just leave me alone? Can you just please? But I want to know, with him referring to the daughter, of course, this was to appeal to his better nature because this is a child. Is that in any way going to come into effect with how he treats Slightly or what he wants out of this situation? I'm not saying he's going to be all bad or all good, but I do think he's going to lie somewhere in the middle. He has, some humanity there, but I think it's so undercut because what do I have to live for? All I've ever had is this mission, and I'm going to complete it. But actually, how do you think Marrow is going to use Slightly, and how do you think it's going to affect Slightly?
Terrible, and in the worst way possible. I don't like. So I like Marrow as a character. I don't like Marrow as a person. I don't think he has humanity left. I don't. Now, will we may see glimmers and peaks of it at some point, depending on what the dynamic of his relationship with Slightly turns into. But I think when you're going into it predatory in the way that he is, like, well, can I be your friend? You said we all needed friends. Like, that's definitely manipulation. It definitely gives grooming. It definitely gives all of the negative things in the world. And I don't see anything positive coming from it. My bigger concern is if he has the technology to wire in to Slightly's head, can he take over Slightly? I'm very, very curious about what this dynamic is going to be, especially because they made a very intentional decision to make these hybrids children in the mind. There's something more to it, I think, behind the scenes that they're going for, and a certain messaging that they're trying to convey with this. And I think we'll see the worst of Marrow as it relates to Slightly, because Slightly is very impressionable. He very much is like, well, I did say that. You are right. So what is it that you need? Until I do think it'll come a place or a time where he'll try to take Slightly over in some way or another. But yeah, I don't expect anything good from Marrow in this Slightly situation. Even before, we saw him save somebody, but he was like, I didn't come to save you. I'm here to get my specimen. You can go to hell. Like, Marrow doesn't have it to do. And I think if you've been on a mission, a singular focus for 65 years, you were on a crew with people for that long, and you were willing to sacrifice them, Slightly doesn't stand a chance if he gives in to Marrow fully.
Marrow is a lot of things, but Marrow is also tired. He's tired, and it seems like he's at the end of his rope. It's like he's running on fumes at this point. And the show is so knee deep in what's a human life. Like, what did he say? What was the riddle here? When is a machine not a machine? Like, I feel like he's going to tap into something, and it's going to be unexpected, because I thought all of these things were suppressed and done with. It's been forever, but maybe Slightly, maybe their relationship, maybe, just maybe. I have hope, and I really think, I saw the chat. I think he has a daughter. I don't think he was lying about that. B, how did you feel about this, and what do you think Slightly is going to be used for as far as Marrow is concerned?
Oh, definitely some type of pawn to get whatever Marrow wants. Maybe the technology back. I don't think he's going to kill anybody. I hope he probably is going to threaten him and somehow, look up his information and just be like, hey, do what I say, or this is going to happen, or and I think that's, hopefully that doesn't happen. But it's going to get really ugly because he is a predator. I'm looking at that image that you have right there. He just, with those eyes, he really does look scary. Like he would eat somebody. And I mean, oh, you got two, yeah. Nothing good. Nothing good. I'm really worried about this. I really am, and so I know it's going to creep me out. And I just don't like seeing people get taken advantage of, especially young people.
Yeah.
And so Hopefully, Slightly kills him by the end of the series. That would be nice. I would.
Because I'm like, with the capacity that Slightly has, what else could you do besides try to befriend him and gain access to this building, or just corridors, or learn certain things, or emotions, or like what's going on now, or use him to spy? You can only do so much without physically being there. But he is impressionable. Who knows where Marrow could take this? But I have hope that he's gonna come up. But I wanted to put this man here because he popped up here in the midst of conversation. I was like, who is this? Now, looking him up, he's just a senior employee of Prodigy Corp. Actually, who is Adam? What do you think? Because he made the kids feel secure-ish, and he just inquired more about information. But he did also tell them, which we already saw, we can see everything through your eyes. And Slay was like, I don't think I like that. But what do you think this man's purpose is? Because he is, so far as Prodigy Corp, he's the oldest person I've seen.
He's probably Boy Cavalier's daddy. He probably is daddy. He probably got him in there. We'll probably see him later in the season privately advising Boy Cavalier. Like I said, there's nothing that's going on there that Boy Cavalier either spearheaded or is unaware of. And this might be the person that gives him all the tea. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a meeting between the two. I mean, I jest in that it might be his daddy, but it might be his daddy. Because where are Boy Cavalier's parents at? And it wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't know. He looks nefarious, though. He's going to have a singular motive as well. And that's probably supporting kid Cavaliers or Boy Cavaliers' damn world takeover. That's all he wants. Honestly, I think he just wants world domination. And this is probably the guy who's his eyes and ears on the ground, or at least in the company.
B, who do you think Adam is?
I just think he's just some advisor. I mean, he is Captain Creepy Man #2 with the way he was approaching Smee on the couch. I mean, I don't think that was necessary. You could have got the information a non-creepy way. He also reminds me of Obadiah Stane from Iron Man, just a little bit. Just kind of the same role. But he probably knew the parents of Boy Cavalier and was close to them, and probably advised their parents or his guardians, and he's just kind of left over from that lineage. But he does look like he has some wisdom. Like I don't know if he may want world domination, but I think that he'll stay in his lane to obtain it. He's not gonna go jump off a cliff to do it like Boy Cavalier. Like, oh, $1 trillion R&D just landed in my lap. He's like, hey, let's that's cool, but let's not just let's put our pinky toe in the water, not let's just dive in. So that's somewhat saving grace.
Well, I guess it was just me with my mind flying all off into flights of fancy. As soon as I saw this man, I'm like, oh, we 100% sure that Boy Cavalier is really a boy and he's not a synth or a hybrid. And this man is controlling him. That's where my mind went. My mind went all the way there because there's just such a fixation on youth and boyhood and the kid wonder and Peter Pan. And it's like all the things are the movement that I can make as an older man. It's not as impressive if it's not coming from the youth. Maybe he's in like an avatar. I don't know. That's where I was. It was just me, clearly. That's where I was. I'm like, why are you here? This older man. He's just here. I was like, in what capacity are you here? And just sometimes when we're getting into Boy Cavalier, but then we did have that moment where he was like, back up. The alien could burst at any moment because you are just a mere human. But I was like, all right, I'll be curious to know more about him. I just wasn't sure what was happening over here with Daddy Warbucks. But okay. But leaving here, everything is questionable, We spent a lot of time with these kids this episode because Nibs was not feeling it. Nibs was the one who said, when do we get to go home? When do we get to go home? I think we're going to have different reactions from every single child here that was transitioned. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they gravitate to and how we see Slightly react to Marrow, or you see Kersh has his little sector of lab work that he does with the kids. And then we have Nibs here, who is just really displaced and not um she's not transitioning well at all, in my opinion. She's prying and poking at herself. I don't know how far this is gonna go because it just feels like I'm not a person. I'm not a child. I'm just a subject. I'm something to be worked on. I'm property. Like, where do I stand here? I don't have any parents. And I think that we're going to see a downfall of her maybe leaping into some questionable things, trying to test things because I'm not a real person and she just wants to feel something or connect to something. But I think it's gonna get gory. Actually, what do you think about Nibs?
Yeah, I don't think she's long for the galaxy. I think that at some point she's going to find a way. And I like it in that we are getting different dynamics from each of these hybrids because this still is a very new process, allegedly. And so seeing how each of these people interact or adapt to becoming a hybrid is interesting. I will say this event traumatized her. That ship, the little octopus alien, all of that completely traumatized her. I think she was the most afraid when she was there. And so I wondered what that was going to look like. She really looks like old girl from Anne with an E. If y'all watch that on Netflix, side note, that's what she looks like to me. But I don't know what Miss Ginger's going to do, Tyra. I think that she's going to have a fatal end. I just see tragedy all over her. She's not adapting well. Or they're either going to get rid of her because I think she's going to become a liability. She's going to do something risky or possibly expose them to other risks. So either they'll take her out or I think she'll find a way to unplug herself because it's giving she's not going to make it. Not another mission, not another day, not another interaction. Because doesn't she even have awareness of her old family and all of these things? I think the grief is going to do her in outside of, now we have this experimentation and these species on deck. So yeah, I don't see it for her, but I kind of like her character. I like we get some variety here with the
Yeah.
lost children.
I like that because it seems like they were expecting all of the children to kind of adjust and act exactly the same, and we see that that's the furthest from the truth. But I mean, if they want to get cute, I would love for her to get really hyper violent, looking for an identity. Like, who am I? She's like, we're not all boys. Some of us are girls, and half of us is like, I don't have my own purpose or identity. We're fanned and fashioned after a Peter Pan film. Let me create one, or else she's just going to slip through the cracks. B, what do you think's going to happen to Nibs?
Yeah, what actually, I mean, y'all hit it at the park. I really don't have anything to say other than I agree with everything y'all said because I'm really happy that all of the children, the lost children, lost boys are not the same either. We had Smee and Slightly, they're like, dude, what's up? Oh my God, but Nibs, I mean, her response is completely different. And then the other one, she seems like she's kind of flirting with Boy Cavalier. So yes, I do like the different paths that each of them are going on. And yeah, she was shooketh. I would be too if an alien octopus eyeball creature, was trying to latch on to me, whether I'm a synthetic or not. And so hopefully she will overcome. If she does become hyper violent, that would be dope too. I'm Nibs, new and improved 2.0. I got razor blades for fingernails. Now that'd be a little much. But I hope that she doesn't die or gets terminated or eliminated or annihilated or eaten by an alien or whatever, destroyed. I like it. I like it. So no complaints at all.
I do notice that it's more traits for these hybrids to maybe go over there and identify with them damn aliens. I just feel like it's gonna be a hostile takeover. By the time we get to the end, these hybrids are gonna join forces with those aliens, and it's just not. I don't think it's gonna be anything good because she was looking at the creatures all in jars and like, oh, we're just jars and jars too. We're in here to be watched by these spectators and pride and stuck in whatever situations. I think she's going to identify and be over there with them aliens, but maybe more so in a violent way. I don't know. She could just think though. Not Curly though, because Curly want all the smoke. Now, where we have the boys, even at moments, Nibs, and it's like, oh, there's this, and they're 12, and it's very childlike. And even in comparison to Wendy, Curly seems real womanified real quick. I was like, which kid was Curly? And how did we miss turn? When was she turned? Was it directly after Wendy? Because we're real, standing in our purpose and in our mission in our body. And yeah, what you all fixated on Wendy for? What about me? What about me, Hoppo? Why am I not your favorite? Why am I not the one? I have the potential to be one, if not better than you. You really need to be hyper focused on me. I was like, who's Curly? Because that moment where she was trying to kind of console Nibs, I forgot that this was a hybrid. I thought that this was another handler that they sent on them. I'm like, no, they just all left with Kersh. This isn't a person. This is one of the children. But she's not really moving like a child. And you see that she's agile about educating herself and even tells Bor Wonder here, yeah, I have the potential to be better than you. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell you my idea because I know you're going to steal it. I was like, hold on. Hold on, this is very interesting, especially with her comparing herself to Wendy, and it's kind of this competition now. But the way that the interaction happens, and it's like, well, now am I your favorite? Well, no, you're gonna get these books. You're gonna get these books, and then we can play later. What you mean play? This and the way that he also voices in the same breath, go collect my children. Where are my kids? How are my kids doing? Get my kids here. But at the same time, your kid could go in here to what is pretty much another kid and flirt in a way that may end up sexual. Curly is very interesting. B, what did you think about this conversation?
Yeah, it was very weird. I thought the same, just like, hopefully they, don't have some type of sexual interaction. That just, I mean, they talked about it. He's like, she can't poop anymore, no heart, it's just consciousness and, no blood or anything like that, just fluid. And we saw it. But I'm just really curious on like just how dismissive he was, and also how he was just really poking the bear, pressing her buttons. And are you mad that Wendy's my favorite? Just like, oh, I want to hear about it. Are you jealous? But also I'm curious if there's some type of kill switch. Because I wouldn't be surprised if one of them attacked him or anybody else because they didn't get what they wanted. I mean, I imagine that they would be smart enough to implement something like that, but we'll just have to see. So hopefully they just don't sweep that under the rug, because that's a very big plot point or subplot point right there. But the line of dialogue she said is, I think I'm better than Wendy. I think about the world and I can make it better, and I have all these ideas. He's like, what is it? She doesn't, I could be better than you. I would think that would make him happy, because the last episode he was just like, man, I'm trying to look for I'm the smartest, man. I want somebody better than me that's going to, challenge my mind. And so he may have made his match. I don't know. We'll see. But I thought he would be happy, but he seemed kind of annoyed with her. So
Because it's all talk. He doesn't actually want any competition or anyone to outshine his brilliance. I think if it ever came to that, he would dial her back a whole lot. There has to definitely be a kill switch or something into play, because she's becoming very well adjusted really, really fast. And it's only been how long? And she's already to threaten your position in your mind. Yeah, he's bright, but hopefully he's bright enough to recognize how far this could go. Ashley, what's up with Curly?
Yeah, he's got to be, because she was engineered this way. There's no way you're telling me that that out of all of these children, Wendy, who was first, I get it. She was first, right? She's kind of an anomaly, like whatever. Cougar Town, May December relationship, was in that lab and did something different to Curly. I promise you she's engineered this way. And I think it's a test. He wants to give her, here, take this book. I made a list for you. Go here. And then I'll really see who you are. I'm really going to see if you're learning and adapting the way that you've been programmed to. Curly's different, and they made her different intentionally. I don't know if they made her to be his, I don't know. I'm saying that's where it gets sick, because these are children, right, in the mind. But did y'all make her to be his companion or his something or other? Because it's like you don't go from an 8-year-old or 10-year-old, however old she is, to now you know nuance, you know how to flirt. I mean, you're in his face. You know what I mean? It doesn't give, I have this wild ambition and I'm burdened with glorious purpose after 2 seconds, right? I don't believe that in her. So I do think if they were in that lab and they altered Curly, That's why I think she's this way.
B.
Could it have been the books, the literature?
It could be. She's a little too well adjusted. Like all of the kids are adjusting differently at a different pace, but it's giving next week she'll be a full blown woman. It's very very quick. I feel like her childlike tendencies, if any at all, they are like not present at all. We got a little bit of it. Well, like, or so am I your favorite now? Like what about now? But it's still it's in a cheeky, flirtatious kind of way of you're doing what I expected. Oh, they
Yeah.
should all just be kind of equally developing at the same time. Even with Wendy being first, I don't feel like Wendy is this far.
No, and I think it is. I think it does beg that question. Abundance. I see it in the chat. The greatest fear with us in AI, and ultimately they are artificial intelligence. And the scary thing, or the thing that people fear, is that it can grow, it can learn, it can evolve, it can adapt. But the speed or the rate by which she's doing it in comparison to the other, somebody put a battery in her back. You're not gonna make me believe it's that cougar. It's that cougar in the lab. I know y'all want to think she's good, but that doctor, she's up to no good around the neighborhood with her young lover. Believe me, trust me, I know. By the end of this first season, it's gonna come out.
Are you talking about Wendy's guardian lady?
Dame, old Dame, and her husband Arthur. What Ashley calls the May December relationship. But we also have Kersh over here. Kersh, who I think that the real enemy is. Kersh is a problem. Kersh is the unexpected problem. You don't roll up here with your Blade Runner hair and be innocent. I do not care. Kersh is a problem, Ashley. I I've been waiting, and where he's like, "Oh yes, Kersh, you better get in there and protect those children." Maybe Kersh could give a damn. Kersh could give a damn about them. I think they are extremely expendable up until he can manipulate them and pull them under whatever plan that he has in motion here, because they are just sponges. And even here, when they were talking about, well, why do they think they have parents in this, and they still behind him like children? And objectively, they are spending more time with Kersh than they are spending with Boy Wonder or anybody else there. So, as far as a father figure and who we're going to listen to when everything goes and hits the fan, we're going to go over there and stand behind Daddy Kersh. But what are we standing behind Daddy Kersh for? The moment that he called and was, well, where's Wendy? Boy, if you don't go get my baby, go get Wendy. What are you doing? What do you mean you left her by herself? And he goes. When he sees these aliens, he sees an opportunity. He really likes the fact that you can't stand in front of them and I can. And when he calls and he says, like, aren't you supposed to be better than any human? Like, can you not just go get Wendy? Can you not maintain these children? What good are you? Aren't you a synth? Like, come on. You're not a human being, right? It's like, okay. I think he's tired of being here with Boy Wonder in this certain capacity, and he's going to try to use these aliens as a vessel. The moment he realized, like, you're inferior here, you're just a host for this alien, just a vessel to pop out something. Child, what are you to me? And who am I? Let me reinforce my state. And I think he's going to use these children to do it. Ashley?
Leave the kids out of it, because then nobody else go to see about them children but Daddy Kersh. So let's get off of him with that. Now, what I will say is he is a synth. So I mean, he has no humanity at all, right? The mission is the mission. And I think he's got a right to say he's far more superior, because he is. I mean, compared to these jokers. Now, the only issue I take fault or have issue with as far as Kersh this episode was going in and still cutting when he saw what was in there. Because what are you doing? I need you to have that kind of common sense to say, I'm not going to cut through this veil, through this wall, through whatever it is, and so this thing can jump out. But I like Kersh. Anybody can get this work. But I will say, out of the same token, the mission was to go see about them children, and he rescued them. He stood toe-to-toe with Marrow, like, what you're not going to do is touch my babies. That's what you're not going to do. Now, like I said, what are we going to see him do? Is it going to be a hostile takeover? So be it. Kersh probably is better off in control anyway. He's probably better off in control than Boy Cavalier anyway. You're not going to make me hate Timothy Olyphant, Team Kersh, all day, every day, 50 Tyson, me and Fruit from the Vine. That part, we ride at dawn. Okay, dead
Girl,
boy.
Kersh is a problem.
Over here
Kersh
with
is
Kersh.
a problem. Like, this is a hostile takeover, and it's so sad with Cavalier so focused on everything else. He's underestimating the position and all the free will that he's giving Kersh to handle and manipulate things right under his nose. That's why I'm like, the whole lung situation, that's probably all him. But it's like, yeah, go down there. I'm trying to just be a part of the complexities of the human in the contest and all. He's worried about the wrong things. And all of this, I need a brilliant person or some type of synth evolved enough to have a genuine conversation with. He's on his own little superiority complex thing to where he's not even expecting something like Kersh. I think Kersh is a big problem and it's going to be an issue. B, how you feel about Kersh?
No, man, we team Kersh over here. You
Please.
why? I'm like, are you trolling with your take? Like, he's a problem.
No.
The dude is getting a hero. He done saved. Boy Cavalier needs to be humbled, man. And Kersh is the one
He
to
will
do it.
be.
And I am here for the hostile takeover. Like, real talk. And I'm with Ashley over here. Like, Kersh is an asshole. He is an a-hole, and I didn't like him at first, but he did step up to the plate and just be like, hey, man, leave him alone. You know what I'm saying? We may not be cool, but I'm not just gonna let you manhandle them. You know what I'm saying? Like, get back, you know. And he was all cool. Like, I was Team Kersh at that point right there. He running the show. Boy Cavalier is stupid, like a stupid genius. Like, why would you don't know what this is, and you just don't have it exposed? We got a lab. We can bag it up and yada yada yada. And the whole thing was about to fly in your face. He was able to put it together like this. Like, wait a minute, this means this and this means that. Oh yeah, team like Kersh is the MVP right now, and so I'm Team Kersh over here all the way. Timothy Olyphant, Kersh, however you want to call him. I like the haircut. He got the swag. He got the aura. He got it all. You know what
does that mean for the state of humanity if Kersh is in power?
I don't think he's interested in that. You know,
That's what I'm saying. We want to live, right?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's not trying to. No, like not hostile takeover as far as like over humanity. I'm talking about over Prodigy, over Boy Cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there's going to be that, but I think that if he feels like he's the superior whatever synth, there's that. That means whatever Boy Cavalier is doing, it's for absolute self gratification. It's for competition. It's probably for money. It's probably for status within the world, and it's to be worshipped as Boy Cavalier. To be worshipped and for anybody to give a damn, there has to be human beings walking. Nobody's going to care about your stunts and shows if it's all synths and whoever walking around. The way that Kersh is moving, it's like a light bulb went off. Like, why are you here? Why am I underneath you? And maybe there should be synths and hybrids walking around, and this alien can be a vessel to help me do that. And I can also manipulate and use these children too. That's what I saw. Okay. I think Kersh is going to be an issue. I really, really do. I think it's going to be interesting because he does need to be humble, but I also want us to live, Kersh. I want us to live and care about these kids because he's going to use these kids. He doesn't care. Speaking about caring about the kids, we got these allies over here. This May December situation, Ashley says. Arthur and Dame here. We have them, mid conversation while we're trying to nurse Wendy back to health. And it's like, speak up. I didn't hear what you said, Arthur. Say what you mean what you say. Like, yeah, I thought it was dumb as hell for you to send them out there. These billion-dollar tech situations, they're being used for this. He's cavalier with everything. Like, he could give a damn. I was on to the next, great shiny thing in this discovery of these aliens. But we do have them kind of in the middle of the road when Dame says, but Dame says, I'm a mother. I'm a mother. She was so brave this episode and she got hurt. Like, this wasn't okay. And she has all this compassion, but we're still complacent and we still had a very large hand in getting these synths and these hybrids and these children and whatever else behind those corridors that we haven't seen yet. You play a very big role here, ma'am, with your husband. So how far does this sympathy go and what are you willing to do since you got your degree and you give a damn so much? I do think there's a heart underneath there, but I haven't seen it divulged to anybody but Wendy. I didn't see her sitting going to check on anybody else, but I just wanted to know that the duo, the May December duo, did say something on their behalf. But are we gonna, free the children, or are we gonna stay complacent? B.
Um, I think they're gonna free the children, and I like them. I'm glad I didn't know that they were together. This was a surprise for me, and when it was revealed, I was like, "Oh, this just kind of adds more depth, to this little story adventure that we're on." And so, I'm here for it. I like that there's morals. He's trying to stay within the science and not exploit them. So I'm 100% down with them too.
Ashley.
Heck, So here's the thing: May, December are problematic because they're the worst type of villains. And I'll say this, and I'll give some background to it. The worst type of people are people who are complicit, not necessarily the ones doing it, but the ones that aid and abet the foolishness. So while she's acting all set, no, don't talk to her right now. No, you can't come in the room right now. No, she's convalescing, she's healing. Tomorrow she'll turn another one. Dame May December is not to be trusted. She's vile. This little act is cute for right now, but she's a monster. You don't get to that position working with Boy Cavalier at this high level with all of these experiments that he's doing. Even what we see with the lung is nefarious, y'all. Like, this is crazy. The reason I'm cool with Kersh is because you can't expect anything else from Kersh. But Dame Cougar is a whole real human who's supposed to have a heart. You got here by doing probably the worst of the worst of the worst experiments, seeing all of the repercussions, because Wendy was your first successful one, but how many failed before then? Who's in them basements? Dame Cougar. I don't trust her. She has a sweet persona, like, let me smile in your face. But then you marry a 20-year-old, ma'am. You are 65 years old. We are not about to play with you. She's a predator in every way. I don't trust her. I don't trust her motives. Like I'm saying, sit by and do nothing. No, leave her alone. But tomorrow I'll flip this 5-year-old and I'll put her in a human body. It's morally, it's corrupt. It's wrong, and I will wait for my gifts and prizes when I'm proven to be right by the end of the season. Thank you.
I'm not saying either one of these people are all good. You don't get to work with Cavalier and be a good anything. And we keep seeing moments of the cleanup crew in those hallways cleaning up after what? What is going on that we haven't seen yet? And I'm still not 100% sure that those parents gave full consent for you guys to transition those kids into these hybrid bodies in the first place. We haven't seen any transactions take place. And we could see now in this episode with how they're treating Joe, baby, they could give a damn. A body is a body, a life is a life. If we could be used for science, we're going to do that. We care about the bottom line. But there is, there has to be, stuff is going to hit the fan. We're going to need people to be picking sides, and they're acting like they're going to be on the right one, if there is such a thing. But how far is that going to extend to everybody else? Because I haven't seen her show this much compassion for anybody except for me, because she's the first. Okay. Ashley said, I want my prizes, gifts, donations. I want everything.
That's a good picture of her, though. You did her face. This is a nice picture, though, Tyra. That was a good choice. It is. She looks good here.
Off of that lady's neck. No, we have Wendy here in this episode. I want to know what side is Wendy going to stand on, because there is going to be a standoff later, and it's going to be Kersh and a couple others on one side, and we're going to have Cavalier on the other side, and she's going to kind of be in the middle. But we have Wendy wake up, and she goes directly to hearing, and from what it looks like she was feeling the pain, right? Or was it just me? I felt like she was feeling what was happening to the xenomorph. Okay, we have all of that, but getting from the bed all the way to the lab, nobody sees her or hears her. I was like, what is going on? Is this in her mind? Is this actually happening? Is Kersh really not giving a damn? Like, oh, she on the floor? Oh, okay. Like, nobody acknowledged her, which is kind of weird to me, because I was waiting for someone to go, oh, Wendy, you're up. You're awake. Are you okay? What's happening? What are you hearing? No one said anything. We just kind of have her laid out here. Ashley, what do you think was up with that? And when it all comes down, because Wendy is here to be an enemy of Kersh. That's what Wendy is here for. That standoff and when it's going to happen, and the kids are picking where they're going to go and who they're going to listen to. It's going to be that, and she's going to be the one trying to protect the home front of, well, we were put here to be X, Y, and Z, and don't listen to Kersh. He doesn't have your best interest at heart or whatever, and all the chips will fall where they may. So, where do you think Wendy's going to be in that? And how do you feel about this connection that she has to the xenomorph, and why couldn't it seem like nobody saw or heard her?
I don't know. And I'm not under any delusion that there's not cameras and, a way to detect these people in every part of this, right? They've spent so much money on these hybrids. There's no way someone doesn't know, isn't watching from somewhere. But what I found really, really interesting is about her connection to the xenomorphs and potentially the other alien things that are out there. And I think ultimately Wendy, once they find out that she has this, whatever it is, right? Because we got a sense, of course, that she feels whatever they feel. She's hearing, she's seeing when they're harmed, when they're screaming out or screeching, she's feeling it also. There's some sort of deep connection. I'd also go back to that opening scene. Like you said, there's something that made the xenomorph pause. Like you said in the first episode, we saw him be aggressive, right? And now there's this calm and this wait and this like pause. I wonder if, I don't know if she can control, it seems to be there's some sort of psychic connection between her and the aliens. And I think once they find out, they're going to try to manipulate that, because what part of her is that? Was some of the science used that engineered her the same science that was potentially used when the first specimens were found? I'm really curious about whatever the connection is, because there definitely is. But I mean, they'll find her. We'll be 2 minutes into the next episode. They'll come pick her up off the ground. They'll come scrape her up, Tyra. Somebody knows where she was, but I don't think they know the fullness. And of course, she doesn't even understand what's happening. And we, the audience, definitely don't understand. But if she's feeling their pain, that's something super deep. Because when we were on the ship, we didn't get that same sentiment. You know what I mean? And so I'm very, very curious. I mean, in the last episodes, we didn't get the same feeling that we got in the opening scene here. So I'm very curious about what this is going to look like, what the connection is. And Kersh will find it and he will use it. Like, let's be under no delusion. He'll be on that table if he finds out, Tyra. But go on, Wendy. Go on, big head Wendy. You know I'm not a huge fan of hers either. So we'll see.
I want to know if this hesitation and pause in this connection has to do with who Wendy was before. And is some of that shared between her and Joe as siblings? Like, is there something lying dormant, like within them, even though, this isn't Wendy, she's a hybrid now? Or is this like, what makes her so special and so different? And what did they do with her that makes her able to hear this and not the other ones? And I don't see, well, I can see them tweaking certain things, like we said with Curly, but this connection, this is something that wouldn't have been necessary to have present, because they weren't even aware that these xenomorphs existed when they were making her. So it's all a mystery. I can't wait, but I was trying to see if this was a dream or was this actually happening and nobody gave a damn. B, how do you feel about Wendy here?
Yeah, I'm definitely confused too on why no one noticed her there. Because, like you, I was saying to myself, somebody is going to hear her. Oh, you're awake. You're conscious. Thank gosh. We thought you was dead. We didn't think you was going to come to. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are you, back at 100%? But she just walks in and passes out. I was like, did they have on headphones? And I was like, no, I don't think. I'm serious. I was very, very confused. As far like, I have a question though. I want to clarify something. When y'all say the pause is with the alien, like, what do y'all mean? Like, you mean when they was about to like attack Marrow and they stopped and then went to go attack like that pause? Or
The hermit crab.
Yeah, the pause when it's Joe. Not so much the pause with Wendy, because she is a hybrid, so they can tell the difference. But as far as Joe, or just in their present from the moment that they've had any interaction with the xenomorph, there seems to be a hesitation instead of just kind of reacting in the way that any other person that the xenomorph comes across. You can slice and dice, and I'm moving on to the next thing. But we haven't done that so far. Even, with the beginning of this episode in the opening scene, there was just a need to kind of read and like this is something else. It felt like, oh, this is familiar. I
I
don't
was
know.
gonna say because they sense fear, but I don't know. As far as the connection that Wendy had, because you make a good point, they didn't know about the aliens or when they was building her. So it's not like they put in some type of sensor or fail safe. Um, I'm thinking that something was unlocked when she got knocked out and came back. Maybe a switch went off and she can hear a certain frequency or something like that. That's my guess. Other than that, I have no clue. I don't think she's part alien. That would be a bummer, kind of stupid. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. And I don't know how the franchise kind of stacks up or like the prequelness territory. We gonna have a little pause for the cause for y'all to hit the like button if you're still with us, and we're gonna come back and give you our predictions. But can y'all also drop down in the chat and let me know if Prometheus is still in this universe? Like, are certain things non-existent here, like the Covenant and Prometheus? Is that
I've
still
been
here?
hearing.
Yes.
I've been hearing it's not. I've been hearing they're not taking into consideration with the development of the aliens and how they've been presented. I've read it online in Reddits, and I've seen it in the chat tonight. Like they're just ignoring Prometheus and Covenant. But I don't know.
I was just
Has
trying
the
to see if maybe that means something for Wendy that we don't know about, like David, the Michael Fassbender character. Like maybe we were going over there, but I wasn't sure where they were going with it. But we
the
going to
director?
be right.
Let me look. I was
So
asking,
go.
did the director make a statement? Noah, did he make a statement?
I don't know. Ash is going to look it up, and we're going to come right back. Y'all take this time to hit that like button, please.
This ain't what you want. Sexy with I just wanna rock. I just wanna rock. Body out of y'all. Shorty got that body out of y'all. Hit it once, no time. Set up, fuck, you gon' feel my vibe. Stand on my money, don't know my side. Pick them sides, and you better choose wisely. That's my high. 1, 2, 3, 4, go up to 5. That's my high. This ain't what you project. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
I just want to. What you find, Ashley?
I haven't found anything yet.
But
If you go to the trivia part on IMDb, it has a timeline, but it says that they're largely ignoring those two. So
Oh, okay.
well, there goes my theory. I was going to say maybe in Prometheus. Maybe I don't know, but no, never mind. B, do you have any predictions for episode 4?
I think they're just going to dive into how Wendy is connected to the aliens, and that's all I got. Maybe more of Marrow and see what his agenda is. But that's that's all I have. But I do have a question for y'all. Are y'all team Prodigy or team Wayland Yutani? If you had to pick.
Neither.
Neither? Okay.
We don't know too much about Utani just yet. Like what I mean, all of the motives are always corrupt. It's always some type of financial gain. It's never going to be good, but I don't know. We haven't really had a lot of interaction with her yet. I would be curious to really get some face to face with her to see what her stakes in it. But nobody likes Boy Cavalier. Ashley.
No, I don't believe in this whole corporation, and it all seems like it's in this vie for immortality. And I'm like, damn, what a terrible space to be in and live in. Everyone's just motivated about their singular interest, and the corporations run everything. Yeah, I'm not team anybody, child. Who am I team? I don't like any. I'm not on anybody's team.
Your team Kersh.
Well, and I also want to ask y'all, like, if y'all had a loved one, or if you had a child that was 7 years old and they were going to die, and the only way to save them was to put them in the synthetic body, would you opt in or just say no?
They're done with synthesize. Okay, we're going over there. Going over there for mama. I'm taking all the time and all the precious moments that I can, especially if I have a choice and we know that there's nothing can be done to save my baby's life. Let's go. Let's go
Okay.
ahead. Ashley.
I know. Only way to save him is to sleep with a man for a little bit of money, but his daddy's gone, right?
Ashley.
That's what popped in my head. No, oh gosh, that's hard because it's supposed to be human consciousness put into a synthetic body. So in essence, your child still gets to live on in a way. But what kind of world are they living on in? Right. I'm not a parent, so I don't know. It's hard for me to really speculate about what I would do in that situation. I don't know. My baby might have to just go on and be with the Lord as it stands. Because I don't know what kind of life is it in a synthetic body, and what does that mean for, for their essence and for their soul and all those things. So I don't know. That's a very layered and nuanced question. I would have to sit with that for a minute. But good. That's a good one.
Ashley, what are your predictions for episode 4?
I hate predictions, but what I want to see is more Marrow. I want his backstory fully fleshed out because I need to know why this black man in the year 2190 is out here fighting so hard for these specimens. I want to know. I want to know. I want to see Kersh do more experiments. I hope we get to cut Wendy open. Maybe Hermit Crab will kick the bucket.
You know what? First of all, there's no reason at this point to cut Wendy open. We are definitely not going to have him kick the bucket. I want to know what else are we going to do with old Joe? Like, is he just there and accessible for parts? Like, are y'all going to try to put the face cover on his face if it doesn't take well to this lung in this incubator little situation you have? Like, is he just a used body? And what is Wendy's reaction going to be when she finds out that you're using my brother in this way? Like, I think it's going to be interesting. I think Marrow is going to be putting slightly through the ringer, child. He's really going to be doing that. And I think we're going to see Kersh get more and more nefarious because there's nothing else for him to do but just be evil. But that was the episode. Ashley, what do you want to say before we get out of here?
Thank y'all for coming through. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, we will be talking Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 1 on Friday. Tomorrow we are coming through to watch Downton. So if you needed like a Gilded Age fix, but in a different way, like in an OG way, come over there and join us. Do not forget, this weekend is Tyra's birthday, okay? It's a big one, and we're celebrating, and it's going to be musical style, and there will be cosplay. So make sure that you're subscribed, and make sure you have the notification bell hit so you don't miss a thing, and drop a comment, hit a like. You know what I mean? It was fun. Thank y'all for coming through.
Be sure to pop in for Peacemaker. I love Peacemaker. It's a good time, and I can't wait for season 2. B, anything you want to say to the folks?
Yeah, this was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love chopping it up with Tyra and Ashley and you guys in the chat. I'm B. Avery. I do these recaps. I do reviews. I just dropped my my thoughts on Peacemaker Season 2, and I also will be covering that on my channel, kind of like a weekly recap style. I'm also going to be linking up with Lamont as well. We're going to be talking more Alien Earth 2. I did just drop a video review for Spike Lee and Denzel Washington as far highest to lowest, so you can check that out. And I think I'm gonna be seeing The Conjuring Last Rites when that drops in a couple of weeks, and maybe The Long Walk as well. Other than that, I don't think there's any other shows on my list. But if you subscribe, you'll find all that out in due time.
Y'all won't need to do a beeping over there with the horror movies. I've been seeing you, BS. Look at you over there watching horror.
Weapons, yeah.
I seen you.
Yeah.
Y'all, that is the show. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Remember to hit that like button. Remember to engage. Remember to subscribe to someone here if it's your first time seeing them, and cut them notifications on, because we'll be back. We will be back to talk Alien Earth next week, as well as so many other things. And be sure to check out Downton Abbey, because I ain't seen none of it. And Lord, we gonna go over there. But everybody have a good night, and we will definitely see you guys tomorrow.
All right. What? Look. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Aye. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing.